In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on March 4th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Houston Rockets versus Indiana Pacers. The Houston Rockets, currently holding a 37-23 record and sitting in 5th place in the Western Conference, are set to face the Indiana Pacers on Tuesday night. This game marks the second half of a back-to-back for Houston as they travel to Indianapolis to take on the Pacers, who are 34-25 and also 5th in the Eastern Conference. The Rockets are coming off a 113-103 loss to the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, which ended their 2-game winning streak. Despite the loss, Houston remains in a tight race in the West, trailing the 3rd-place Los Angeles Lakers and 4th-place Denver Nuggets by just half a game. On the other side, the Pacers are riding some momentum after a 127-112 victory over the Chicago Bulls on Sunday. Indiana has won 5 of their last 7 games and is currently tied with Milwaukee for 4th in the East, though they are 5.5 games behind the 3rd-place New York Knicks. Injury concerns continue to plague the Rockets as Dillon Brooks, Alperen Sengun, and Tari Eason remain sidelined. Meanwhile, the Pacers have listed Benedict Mathurin as doubtful for this matchup. Given the Rockets' injury situation and the fact that they're playing on consecutive nights, it's worth keeping an eye on the starting lineups closer to tip-off. Houston's depth could be tested, especially with 5 players currently listed as day-to-day, including key contributors like Fred VanVleet and Amen Thompson. It's unlikely all of them will be available for this game, which could make things even tougher for the Rockets. Historically, this matchup hasn't been kind to Houston. They've won just one of their last 10 meetings with Indiana and are winless in their last 7 road games overall. The Rockets' early season promise has faded over the past couple of months. Their youth and inexperience have started to show, leading to inconsistent performances and a 5-10 record in their last 15 games. Injuries have also played a significant role in their struggles. With so many players dealing with health issues, it's hard to see them putting together a complete effort on the second night of a back-to-back. On the other hand, the Pacers have found their rhythm after a slow start to the season. They've established themselves as one of the better teams in the East, winning 5 of their last 7 games. Indiana has also been strong against Western Conference opponents, winning 11 of their last 16 matchups. Tyrese Halliburton has been a key factor in their success, posting a double-double in points and assists in each of his last 5 games. When Halliburton is playing at a high level, the Pacers are tough to beat. Indiana has the edge in this game for several reasons. The Rockets are playing their second game in less than 24 hours, and they've struggled in these situations, going 6-8 straight up this season. While Houston did win the first meeting between these teams earlier in the year, that was on their home court. This time, they'll be on the road, where they've had trouble lately. The Pacers, meanwhile, are strong on offense, averaging 117 points per game and ranking 4th in field goal percentage and 7th in three-point shooting. Houston, by contrast, is 18th in scoring, 26th in field goal percentage, and 27th in three-point shooting. The Rockets have also struggled to cover the spread lately, doing so in just 3 of their last 11 games, while Indiana has covered in 5 of their last 7 March games. Houston's recent struggles are hard to ignore. They've lost 10 of their last 15 games and are just 3-6-1 against the spread in their last 10 outings. Facing a fast-paced team like Indiana on tired legs is a tough ask, especially on the road. The Pacers are 18-9 at home this season and have the advantage of being relatively healthy compared to the Rockets. Houston's young roster is still learning how to handle the pressure of expectations, and while they've shown flashes of potential, they've been inconsistent. This feels like a game where Indiana can take control and even the regular season series. As our first pick for this matchup, the Indiana Pacers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both teams have been effective at getting to the free throw line this season. The Rockets rank 5th in the league with 23.2 free throw attempts per game, while the Pacers are 18th with 21.3 attempts per game. Offensively, both teams have been solid, with Houston ranking 15th in offensive rating and Indiana ranking 8th. However, Indiana's offensive efficiency far outpaces Houston's. Defensively, the Rockets are tied for second in efficiency, but the Pacers are 19th. The combination of these factors suggests a high-scoring game is likely. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Toronto Raptors versus Orlando Magic. The Toronto Raptors are gearing up for a matchup against the Orlando Magic on March 4th, with tip-off at the Kia Center. This game marks the final meeting between these two teams this season. So far, the Raptors have won 2 of the 3 previous matchups, giving them a 2-1 lead in the season series. Toronto currently sits in 13th place in the Eastern Conference, but they're coming off a hard-fought 104-102 road victory over Orlando on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Magic are struggling, having dropped 3 straight games, including that recent loss to the Raptors at home. In terms of player availability, the Raptors remain without Ochai Agbaji, Garrett Temple, and Grady Dick, while the Magic continue to play without Jalen Suggs and Moritz Wagner. When it comes to offensive production lately, both teams have been performing at a similar level. Over their last 5 games, the Raptors are averaging 107 points per contest, while the Magic have put up just 100 points per game in their previous 3 outings. On the glass, these teams are nearly identical in terms of offensive rebounding efficiency. Toronto ranks 10th in the league with a 30.5% offensive rebounding rate, while Orlando sits just ahead in 9th place at 30.6%. Despite their struggles in the standings, the Raptors have been one of the best teams against the spread this season, boasting a 35-25-1 record. On the other hand, the Magic have failed to cover the spread in each of their last 3 home games. While Orlando has played solid defense all season, their offensive inefficiency continues to hold them back. They rank near the bottom of the NBA in several key categories, including three-pointers made, three-point shooting percentage, and overall field goal percentage. If Jalen Suggs remains sidelined, Orlando's already shaky offense could face even more difficulties scoring efficiently. Despite being considered the better team on paper and having home court advantage, the Magic have been struggling to meet expectations. They have consistently lost games they were expected to win, largely due to their offensive woes. Oddsmakers continue to favor Orlando in these matchups, but the results haven't justified that confidence. The Raptors have already beaten the Magic once in the past week, despite being a 7-point underdog, and they've now won 2 of the last 3 meetings between these teams. Given Toronto's strong against the spread record, it's hard to understand why Orlando keeps getting priced as a heavy favorite when they've struggled to even secure outright wins, let alone cover the spread. As our first pick for this matchup, the Toronto Raptors to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Looking at the offensive efficiency numbers over the course of the season, neither team has been particularly strong. The Magic rank 28th in the league with a 107.3 offensive rating, while the Raptors sit slightly ahead in 26th place with a 109.6 rating. Both teams also play at a relatively slow pace, with Toronto ranking 16th in pace at 99.81 possessions per game, and Orlando coming in near the bottom of the league at 29th, averaging just 96.62 possessions per game. Orlando has been the best team in the NBA at cashing the under this season, with a 23-39 over-under record, while the Raptors have been a bit more balanced in that regard. 3 of their last 4 games have gone under the total. In fact, the only recent over hit because the game went to overtime. Even though Toronto's offense has shown some positive signs lately, the Magic's defensive consistency, combined with their own scoring struggles, makes it difficult to see this turning into a high-scoring contest. When these teams met on Sunday, they combined for just 206 points, and there's little reason to believe this game will be much different. With Orlando's defensive presence and both teams missing key offensive contributors, expect another grinded-out, low-scoring affair. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Milwaukee Bucks versus Atlanta Hawks. It's an Eastern Conference showdown down in Atlanta as the Milwaukee Bucks roll into town to face off against the Atlanta Hawks on Tuesday night. Both teams are coming off recent games, but they're in very different spots. Milwaukee is fresh off a dominant 132-117 road win over the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday night, where they comfortably covered as 2.5-point favorites. Meanwhile, the Hawks had a game on Monday night, traveling to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies in the first part of a back-to-back set. In their last home game on Friday night, Atlanta struggled defensively and fell 135-119 to the Oklahoma City Thunder, failing to cover the spread as Big Ten 10.5-point underdogs. Historically, this has been a tightly contested matchup, with Milwaukee holding a slim 120-119 edge in the all-time regular season series. However, the Hawks have had the upper hand this season, winning 2 of their 3 meetings, including a 115-110 victory at home on February 7th. Both teams are dealing with some key absences heading into this one. Milwaukee remains without Kyle Kuzma and Pat Connaughton, while Atlanta is missing Jalen Johnson, Larry Nance Jr., and Georges Niang. Despite the Hawks' slight edge in the season series, they're opening as home underdogs, which makes sense given the circumstances. Atlanta is playing on 0 days rest, while the Bucks come into this matchup with plenty of time to prepare after their last game on Saturday. If the Hawks come out firing and build an early lead, they could put Milwaukee on its heels. But with fresher legs and more consistency as of late, the Bucks are in a good spot to take care of business. Milwaukee has been playing some of its best basketball since the All-Star break, and that success starts with their 2 superstars, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. Lillard has been dealing with a minor hamstring issue, but it hasn't slowed him down. He has made multiple three-pointers in 13 straight games dating back to January 27th. Since the break, he started 5 of the Bucks' 6 contests, averaging 22 points, 5.6 assists, 4.2 rebounds, 3.6 made threes, and 1.4 steals per game. That's bad news for Atlanta, considering they give up the 5th most points in the paint per game. With Giannis constantly attacking the rim and Lillard heating up from deep, Milwaukee should have plenty of scoring opportunities in this one. This game sets up as a tough spot for the Hawks. While both teams are in a back-to-back scenario, Atlanta has to deal with the fatigue of playing 2 nights in a row, whereas Milwaukee is coming in with 3 full days of rest. The Hawks have also been dealing with injuries that have thinned out their rotation, and they played a fast-paced game against Memphis on Monday. Their defense has been an issue all season, and slowing down an offensive force like Milwaukee will be a major challenge. If the Bucks have their full squad available and take this game seriously, it's hard not to give them the edge. Atlanta's defense has struggled against strong offensive teams, and with tired legs, it's going to be tough to keep up with Giannis and Lillard. Of course, the Hawks did just pull off a road upset against the Grizzlies and already proved they can beat the Bucks this season. If you're looking for a reason to take the points, that's it. But the problem is Atlanta has had a tough time stringing wins together all season, and expecting them to turn it around in a tough back-to-back spot isn't ideal. Meanwhile, Milwaukee is in a groove, playing its most consistent basketball of the year. The Bucks are 6-2-1 against the spread in their last 9 games, and home court advantage hasn't meant much for Atlanta this season, given their 13-15 straight-up record at State Farm Arena. The spread is reasonable and is our first pick for this matchup. The Milwaukee Bucks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Atlanta's defensive struggles make the total an interesting angle in this one. This will be their 2nd game in 2 nights, and they've had a hard time keeping the teams from running up the score. Just before facing Memphis, they allowed 135 points at home to the Thunder, and they ranked 28th in the league in 3-point defense. That's a problem against a Milwaukee team that shoots the 3 at the 2nd highest percentage in the NBA. Lillard has been on fire from deep, and the Bucks are capable of putting up a big number on the scoreboard. Atlanta should still be able to score at home, but they'll have a hard time stopping Milwaukee from lighting it up. As our 2nd pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.